Putin has been dealt a very strong blow. Russia's airstrikes on trucks carrying S-400s have devastated Putin. While the Russian army was trying to deliver S-400s to the Ukrainian region, it was literally cornered. With this incident, Putin is now at a loss what to do, but the details of the unbelievable operation shocked the whole world. The Russian army has reached a very different point in the Russian-Ukrainian war. When Russia started to lose one after another in the war, Putin came to take some different steps. Russia, which wanted to attack the Ukrainian army with a different weapon, received a very big answer. While Russia has dismissed many generals who have suffered recent losses, it has started to use a different strategy to gain dominance in the Ukrainian region. Russia has signed a shocking decision after the recent support of the US and its military headquarters in the Ukrainian region. Since the beginning of the war, the United States has been providing continuous support to the Ukrainian army, which was initially based solely on the self-protection of the Ukrainian army. But in a short period of time, many countries have started to want the war to end, especially because of the economic problems it has caused to the world. But if Russia succeeds, it will become a very big threat to the European Union. That's why the Ukrainian army started to receive tank and missile system support one after another to end the war. But the most important support at this point was the long-range Patriot missiles sent by the United States. The Patriots allowed the Ukrainian army to take a very serious lead in the war. In response, Putin made a shocking decision. First of all, Putin started to equip all of Moscow with air defense systems. After installing air defense systems in many areas, street by street, Russia moved to make other moves. But Putin did not stop there. He wanted to completely block Ukraine's possible missile attacks by installing air defense systems in a central area like Soledar. But British intelligence, realizing how big a threat the S-400s would be for Europe, took action. First of all, the British informed the Ukrainian army about the routes along which Russia would transport the S-400s, and with what level of protection. After that, Ukrainian soldiers took action to stop Russia. Many Bayraktars were sent to this region to gather the necessary information. But the main purpose of these Bayraktars was to scan the route and corner the Russian army in this region. For this, the Ukrainian army mobilized one of its most elite units. The plans of the Ukrainian Special Forces for this operation shocked the whole world. The S-400s were known as the best air defense systems in the world. Therefore, the Ukrainian army had no chance to attack from the air. A ground operation was also very risky, as it was known that Russia would protect these weapons very seriously. After all, the Ukrainian army needed a very different plan. One by one, Ukrainian soldiers followed the routes that Russia usually used to send ammunition and supplies to Soledar, and learned which route to take from their men inside. Knowing that this route would be scanned in advance, the Ukrainian army lurked in the area overnight. When Russian drones did not find the slightest information in their scans, it was guaranteed that the Russian army would pass through here. Ukrainian soldiers immediately started to lay many mines and C4s in this area. Ukrainian soldiers who continued to ambush in that area with the C4s they buried waited for the right time to come. When the Ukrainian observer unit said that the Russian army would arrive in this area in a very short time, the Ukrainian army decided to set up rocket launchers. Behind the rocket launchers set up right on the mountainside, the Ukrainian army was now completely ready. As a result of the plans made, the Russian army coming to that region would be dragged into a huge chaos. When the Russian S-400 convoy arrived exactly on the designated route, the Ukrainian army first learned which part these systems were in. After that, the Ukrainian army decided to detonate the C4s lined up under the Russian convoy. When the vehicle carrying the S-400s arrived on top of the C4s, the Ukrainian army first detonated the front vehicle to fix it in that area. The Russian army, surprised by this, took up positions, but the Ukrainian army knew that it was too dangerous to engage in combat, so they detonated the S-400s remotely. With this, the Russian army received one of the biggest blows it has ever received. With the explosion of this S-400, Russia has no power to make the slightest move in Ukraine. Putin was very angry at these new developments. It was learned that Putin will make many new breakthroughs in that region after this incident. Putin then moved to send the Russian army towards the Bakhmut region. But after this decision, which he made in anger, he faced a very big problem. Ukrainian soldiers gave the Russian army the biggest defeat in its history. After that, Putin, not knowing what to do, tried to negotiate peace, but Ukraine refused. The reason for this refusal was that Ukraine wanted to take back Crimea. Putin was about to drag the whole world into a war because he did not want to give up Crimea. Russia's recent troubles have taken a different turn, especially with Putin's destabilizing and bizarre policies. The Ukrainian army started to receive very different support, but in return, there are no countries left to support Russia. The Ukrainian army has been strengthened very seriously. As a result of Russia's heavy accusations against any country that supported Ukraine, Russia became even more isolated and reached a very problematic point. Russia has not even the slightest ally left. The last remaining allies started to distance themselves from Putin when his evil plan was revealed, but Putin's evil plan shocked the whole world. The whole world has been talking about Russia's invasion plan in recent days. The Russian army was to be sent by Putin first to Kiev and then to Moldova. With this latest operation, Putin has become a very big problem for the European Union. Therefore, Russia has been very seriously isolated. It has also been revealed that Russia has problems with the countries bordering the former Soviet Union, and that it will organize a massive invasion of these countries. If the situation continues like this, the Russian army will declare war on the whole world. A dictator like Putin does not want to lose, so it is quite possible that he will launch nuclear missiles at Ukraine and other countries of the world. But the views of war analysts on this issue have taken the tense atmosphere all over the world to a different point. According to war analysts, another war by Putin would create a huge crisis all over the world. With this crisis, Ukrainian soldiers would be able to organize more operations, which would allow Russia to withdraw from the war. If the Ukrainian army somehow managed to take advantage of Russia's crisis, things would change completely. In response to these Ukrainian moves, it is possible to say that Russia has been completely cornered. From now on, every step taken by the Ukrainian army will lead to a minus at certain points. If the Russian army's breakthroughs continue in this way, Putin's troubles will grow even more. If the situation manifests itself in this way, Putin's power will be in great trouble. Because of the problems in Putin's power, the people started to revolt because of the lack of stability and mismanagement in Russia. Because of this, the Russian people started to organize different demonstrations in many areas. And these demonstrations will eventually finish Putin.